as you already know, there's one topic that's on everyone's mind right now, and that's the fact that in a few days, it will be the 5th anniversary of Sonic Forces, and we are all so excited to replay that masterpiece again and have smiles on our faces. And of course, the day after that, Sonic Frontiers is coming out. So I guess we'll talk about Frontiers for now, but we really want to talk about Forces nonetheless. Okay, we got some big news to talk about, and some Discourse, as well as the embargo that we've now gotten the time for. So I'm going to get into all this right now. But if you guys are trying already, please make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. You're probably thinking, what is this news we need to talk about, right? Now, let me summarize it for those of you who don't want to see the spoilers. Play the game on hard mode, simple as that. If you're a Sonic fan and you care, you have to play the game on hard mode. This is not Prem being elitist. Okay, I know someone's going, Prem is saying everyone should play on hard, otherwise they're not real Sonic fans. Twitter getting ready to screenshot the thumb. No! I don't care if you play on easy or normal. Do what's right for you, in terms of, from my personal opinion standpoint. The reason I'm saying you have to play on hard mode is because there's something in there that's only on hard mode. That's all I'll say. Well, that's not all I'll say, but if you want the spoiler part, I'm about to get into that now, so you have been warned. When I click on this tab, you will see the spoilers. Okay, so says here, hard mode gets you Final Titan boss. I'm Here song plays in the background, and one more final boss that takes 10 minutes. Very, very difficult, and probably the best in the entire series. That's a big claim to make. You better be delivering. And credits have One Way Dream song in the background, and you get an important post-credit scene. Normal and easy mode, Final Titan boss, then some shitty QTE, then the game is finished, vandalized plays, no post-credit scene. You can change the difficulty whenever you want during the same save file. This is from someone who's obviously played the game earlier, as you already know. The review copies have come out, game is broken street date, etc, etc, etc. People are playing the game. I know plenty of people are playing the game right now, okay? So, at the end of the day, it's up to you, right? You can play on easy or normal. And remember, the difficulty is only for combat, and the combat is not hard anyway, so you might as well just put it on hard. But if you really don't want to play on hard, but you want to see the additional content, then play on easy or normal, and then before you finish the 5th island, like as you get to the 5th island, you know that it's the last island, the game's going to end at some point soon, then flick it too hard and just deal with hard for a little bit. At that point, you'll be leveled up anyway. Deal with hard for a little bit so that you can get this additional boss, because otherwise you're going to miss out on content, and let's face it, who wants to do that? I'm guessing technically you could just go back into your save, switch it to hard, and then do this. Maybe, I don't know if that's confirmed, but for your own sake, just play on hard anyway, right? It's not that hard, you'll be fine, okay? But again, if you're struggling, just switch it when you get to the 5th island and you should be straight. So that's pretty much it for that news. On to the embargo date. We already knew the embargo date was the 7th. Some people were asking me in the previous videos, what's an embargo date? I mean, I guess I got some younger viewers who don't know about these things. The reviewers got the game 2 weeks early, right? They're playing it. They finished by now. They're making their content. And the embargo date is basically the point in which they're allowed to start saying all their opinions about the game, posting their reviews, posting their Metacritic scores. So it says here the review embargo for Sonic Frontiers is set for November 7th at 7 a.m. or 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, some people are also saying 6 a.m., so it's a bit conflicting. But remember that daylight saving time in America ends on the 6th of November, which is the day before the embargo. So that's probably where some of the confusion is, right? So if we look at, Pacific Standard Time now, it's currently 10:23, which is 7 hours behind where the UK is, which is 5:23. UK daylight savings changes before America, so we've already set our clocks back. So it's a bit confusing, but yeah, it could be 7 a.m. PST, it could be 6 a.m., but just be on the lookout, right? Be on the lookout, because on Monday, we're going to get that embargo lift, and we're going to see essentially what people think about it, or what critics think about the game, because the users wouldn't have gotten it yet, essentially. Let me know if you want to see a stream on that. I think I'll probably just do a video just to see what people are saying, a quick summary of what the scores are, because remember, not every critic has gotten the game. There's critics and journalists who didn't get it, and they won't have to get it until after the release of the game. So whatever score it gets on Monday will still fluctuate several days after. So I'm thinking just do a video on Monday just to summarize what the critics are saying quickly, and then maybe over the weekend after I've played and beaten the game and I can actually respond to what they're saying with my own points, with my own knowledge of playing, then I could do the stream over the weekend, be like, hey, okay, I'm reading this critic review, I'm reacting to that critic video, and actually just going into detail and just giving my thoughts on what the critics are saying. And also by that time, the user scores will be available as well, so you'll be able to contrast and compare with what the users are saying versus what the critics are saying. So let me know if you want to see that stream maybe next weekend, and if you want to see the critic video on Monday. Now, I got one final topic to talk about, and this one is one of those fan discourse things on Twitter. No, it's not one that mentions my name, although there are plenty of those. This is about some loop-de-loop. I think they tried to go backwards on a loop. So they played the Sonic 4 music, because in Sonic 4 you can do that thing where you walk up the loop. So I think the complaint is that there's no sort of like physics here, essentially. Or you could just essentially walk back up the loop. But I mean, these things are usually designed on splines, which is why this shit happens, because you're supposed to go forward and they don't want you to go back, so they don't bother like coding it properly to have proper physics, which allows you to do some shit like this essentially. And that has caused some discourse in the community, naturally. See, when you get there, then it starts functioning properly. Like, once you get to a certain point, then it's like back to normal physics. It's like some kind of spline shit. But yeah. It caused some discourse. I know what you're thinking, right? You know, Prem's gonna slander that. I don't really care that much, honestly. Like, you would think I'd care more about something like this, but, you know, as you can see here, it says Sonic Rush is similar, so this doesn't preclude Sonic games from scoring 9 out of 10 and being peak raw clean. Sonic Rush is a good counterexample to the notion that Sonic games must be good to be raw. Well, Sonic Rush is good, though. I don't know what this, you know, good is. But the point is that, right? I know there's a lot of backlash. Why can't they have momentum? There is momentum in the game. It's just that there are splines that restrict your movement, especially in the cyberspace levels, that make you go in a certain way. And Sonic 4 has done this. 06 has done this. Which is not me trying to excuse it. It's just more so pointing out that games have been doing this for years, right? Just like they've been rehashing Green Hill for the whole decade. But nonetheless, you can see the video of Sonic Rush physics proving that it has it as well. Like, if you go on certain loops, it does restrict what you can do. And this was posted back when Rush was, I won't say new, it's from 2010, but when it was more recent, essentially, less than 5 years old. But even Rush, as someone who's speedrun like the levels in Rush on Time Attack, that game has got crazy momentum, more than the game people give it credit for. But yes, there are definitely splines that keep you moving forward, essentially. So it's one of those things where, I mean, if it bothers you, it bothers you, but it's obviously not as fluid as the classics in the sense that every single loop is unsplined and you can just do what you want. Here, there's definitely things that try to keep you moving. So, yeah. It's just kind of a thing that's been getting discourse. Like, here, for example, like, there is still momentum here. Like, if you press down, you will curl into a ball and you will start rolling. But, yeah, there's definitely areas where you can catch them out and be like, got you. But, yeah. At the end of the day, it's just one of those things, right? It exists. The splines are not all like the classics. Whether it bothers you or not, that's up to you. For me, it's not a big deal. As long as I can do momentum-based jumps and shit like that, then I'm cool. You know, as long as the level design is fun and engaging, I'm cool. I don't like when people compare a game to something better just to be like, well, this better game has this flaw, so therefore this game should be better as well. Like, no, that's not how the world works. Like, to be like, well, Frontiers has this spline issue, but so does Rush, and Rush is a masterpiece, therefore Frontiers could be a masterpiece. I don't like when people use that logic. Two games can have the same flaw, and one game can still be significantly better than the other, right? Like, Generations is unoriginal as fuck in terms of the assets or the environments that are utilized. So is Forces for the most part, but yet Generations is a far superior game, right? That's just how that shit goes. Frontier Cyberspace is, you know, Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, and a city level. Gens has that as well. But the Green Hill in Generations is better, the Chemical Plant Generations is better, the Sky Sanctuary in Generations is better, and the Speed Highway is better. And if we're talking city levels, the City Escape is better. So again, you know, there was one as well where they were like defending the pop-in Frontiers, which I don't really care that much about the pop-in. I thought it'd be nice if they faded it in a bit more instead of making it all haphazard. But they defended it by going, well, Breath of the Wild has pop-in, and that's a masterpiece. Therefore, Frontiers is fine. Well, I mean, the game is fine as a whole. I mean, you could use that to defend the pop-in, but you can't be like, masterpieces have this flaw, therefore this game has nothing to worry about, because there's plenty of criticisms of Frontiers, one which I talked about in the previous video. I'm not talking about the length, I'm talking about the spoiler topic, which I won't get into here, but nonetheless, that is Frontiers. I don't think there's going to be anything else to cover before Monday. You know, maybe there'll be something on Sunday, I don't know, but I think this is pretty much it until the review scores come out. It's been a wild ride, but it's basically over. You know, you'll see my Frontiers playthrough sometime next week whenever you see it. I don't know if it'll be on the day. If the game doesn't come out midnight on PC and it comes out like 6 p.m, you might not see Frontiers from me on the day, honestly. They could have sent me an early code, they didn't, so if they're going to give me a code late, then the coverage is going to be late. What can I say? Let me know what you guys think about all this information, and of course, a big shout out to all my channel members, and as you can see, I'm unprepared because the screenshot is not loaded up, so I fucked that up, but a big shout out to all the channel members. If you want to become a channel member, you can click the join button next to the subscribe button. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure to check out the non-Sonic channel. The link will be in the description. But that's all I have to say right now. So, Premy out.